few years ago, I rented a small house while working night shifts at a warehouse. The neighborhood was quiet, almost too quiet. Most of the houses belonged to elderly couples, and after midnight the entire street felt abandoned. At first, I loved it. No traffic, no noisy neighbors, no distractions. It felt peaceful. That feeling didn't last long. One Friday morning, I got home around 6:30 a.m. after finishing a 12-hour shift. I was exhausted. I locked the front door behind me, closed the blinds, and went straight to bed. I woke up around noon. The first thing I noticed was that my TV was on. That was strange. I always turned it off before sleeping. I stood there staring at it for a moment. Maybe I forgot. I shrugged it off. The following week, it happened again. This time it wasn't the TV. It was a kitchen cabinet. One of the upper cabinets was hanging open. I lived alone. I knew I hadn't left it that way. Still, I convinced myself it was nothing. People forget things, especially when they work nights. That's what I kept telling myself. Then things started happening more often. A chair would be pulled slightly away from the table. The bathroom light would be on. A window would be unlocked. Every time, there was a logical explanation, or at least I tried to find one, until the coffee mug. One morning, I came home and found a coffee mug sitting in the sink. The problem was that I hadn't used a mug in days. I mostly drank bottled energy drinks. I stared at it for a long time, trying to remember, trying to convince myself there was an explanation. There wasn't. For the first time, I felt genuinely uncomfortable. A few days later, I mentioned it to my coworker. He laughed. "Maybe you've got a ghost." I laughed too, but honestly, I preferred that explanation because the alternative was much worse. That weekend, I decided to test something. Before leaving for work, I took photos of every room in the house. The kitchen, the living room, the bathroom, everything. Then I left. The entire shift, I couldn't stop thinking about it. When I got home the next morning, I immediately compared the photos. At first, everything looked normal. Then I noticed it. A picture frame in the hallway. In the photo, it was perfectly straight. Now, it was tilted, only slightly, but enough to notice. My stomach dropped. Someone had been inside. I called the landlord that afternoon. He assured me nobody else had access. Only me. No maintenance workers. No inspections. Nothing. Then he mentioned something strange. The previous tenant had complained about similar things. He claimed items kept moving around the house. The landlord believed he was making excuses to break the lease. At the time, I thought the same thing. Now, I wasn't so sure. That night, I couldn't sleep. Instead, I bought a small security camera online. 2 days later, it arrived. I placed it on a bookshelf facing the living room and left for work. The next morning, I checked the footage. For hours, nothing happened. The empty living room sat motionless. Then, at 2:17 a.m., movement appeared. The front door slowly opened. My heart stopped. Someone stepped inside. The figure wore a dark hoodie and gloves. Their face remained hidden. I watched in disbelief as they walked through my house. Not stealing anything, not searching for valuables, just wandering. They opened cabinets, looked through books, sat on my couch, turned on my TV, then disappeared down the hallway. 20 minutes later, they left. I immediately called the police. They reviewed the footage and searched the property. Nothing. No fingerprints, no signs of forced entry. The officers believed the person had a key. A key. The thought made me sick. That same day, I replaced every lock on the house, every single one. For the first time in weeks, I felt safe. 3 nights passed without incident. Then on the 4th night, I received a notification from the camera. Motion detected. I opened the app. The living room was empty. I almost dismissed it. Then I noticed something. The hallway door. It was slowly closing, as if someone had just walked through it. I called the police immediately and drove home. 2 patrol cars arrived before me. The officers searched the house. Again, nothing. No intruder. No evidence. No. One officer reviewed the footage more carefully. That's when he noticed something I missed. The hallway door hadn't moved on its own. Just before it closed, a shadow crossed the camera. A shadow that appeared from deeper inside the house. Not from outside, not from a window, from inside. Someone had already been there, waiting. I moved out the next day. I didn't pack everything. I didn't care. I left furniture, clothes, even my television. I just wanted out. A month later, the landlord called. He wanted to know if I had left a key behind. I told him no. He said workers found one during renovations, hidden inside an air vent. An old key. Not mine, not the landlord's. Nobody knew what lock it belonged to. I asked where exactly they found it. There was a long silence. Then he answered, "Inside the wall behind your bedroom." I never asked any more questions, and I never told him one detail. The camera had captured the intruder entering through the front door, but it captured them leaving the bedroom hallway. To this day, I still wonder about something. If that person had a key, why did they spend so much time inside my house? And more importantly, why did they already seem to be there before they unlocked the front door?